All right, now joining the show, we have on East Catholic forward and Quinnipiac basketball commit, Brody Limric. Brody, what's going on, man? How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Happy to get you on, especially right after you commit. So congrats on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, so you just committed to Quinnipiac. What was the recruitment process like for you? Where was because it seems you're a senior this year. I mean, it seemed like a late commitment for you. So what has the process been?
You cat a little bit, but you just asked what the process has been like.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been complicated. It's been up and down. Um, Early in my high school career, I wasn't getting recruited at all because I wasn't playing at all. I really stepped into and started playing the type of basketball I am right now, my junior year. So I really started getting D1 interest and D1 looks that year, and then COVID shut me down. So
Mhm.
it's been different because most guys in my situation, most guys from East Catholic in my situation had 20 plus offers going out of high school, and they were still looking at post grad. And I was in that situation. I had 4 offers, and all of them offered me because they were the only types of schools looking at 2021s. And I had a plethora of schools looking at me for 2022, and I was planning going to St. Andrews to pursue those schools because some good schools were looking at me. But Quinnipiac stepped in, and previously with COVID, I didn't really know what they were going to do. They didn't know what they were going to do because of the transfer portal. As you know, it's packed right
It's
now,
clogged right now. It's crazy.
and it's unfortunate because not everybody's gonna get an opportunity out of there. So I know a lot of guys just looking for a place to go. They enter the transfer portal out of high major schools and have nowhere to go. So it's tough. But yeah,
Now,
I'm lucky I got the situation I did because I wasn't really planning on going to college, but
mhm.
situation arose, so I'm gonna take it.
What four offers did you have?
So before COVID started, VMI offered me,
Okay.
and loved the coaching staff there. And then Navy offered me right after COVID started. They offered me on Zoom. I did the whole tour. Then same with James. No, not James Madison, not them. Fairleigh Dickinson. Sorry, Fairleigh
Gotcha.
Dickinson offered me, and I told all the schools I was planning on going prep. And then Quinnipiac stepped in, and that's a school that they're so close to home
Hmm.
that was kind of like the perfect opportunity for me because they're good academics, close to
Yep.
home, and I really liked the coach. So like it all clicked, and it was my first official visit, so I could see the campus, and I really liked them.
Now, you got offered by VMI and Navy. Was there for you? Because I know that's got to be tough for a kid, like because you're going through schools like Navy. You're a normal student and an athlete. There's no preferential treatment like there is if you go to like a major D1 school. So is that something that kind of deterred you a little bit? Because I mean that it's a tough school, like it's a brutal school to go to. So
I mean, with both the schools and with Navy, it's beautiful, great academics. I mean, you can't beat it. But with them, my goal after college is to play professionally, and I can't get 5 years of service and try and play professionally. It's just
right.
not going to work out for me. And with VMI, just the time wasn't right. And they were like, oh, yeah, we want a right away commitment. But they didn't really want, they were trying to get me to commit since it was the first offer. It was weird. They actually were like, they offered me on a Zoom. And then they were like, yeah, we don't want you to post about this offer. So I was like, what? And that was a situation no one I knew ran into. Cause I mean, like, I know some people who have gotten offers from like Bryant and they've only talked to the assistant coach once, but like I had been talking with them for about a month. Like they was calling me every day. And
Yeah.
it was like, don't post the offer. I was like, what? That's odd. But it's
That
like,
that's definitely weird because like every time somebody gets offered, you see it like posted on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, like they'll post it everywhere. So that's really weird that a school would want you, especially if they want the commitment right out of the gate from you, that they kind of want you to sweep the offer under the rug a little bit and not mention it.
yeah. It was like, yeah, you can post when you commit, you can post. I was like, that's odd, but
Now, with prep school going to St. Andrews, what happened with that? Because I remember you kind of you posted about that how you were going to be going there, and then I see the Quinnipiac commit. So I was a little confused on that front. So like the whole process, I know you said Quinnipiac worked out the best for you, but what happens with St. Andrews then at that point?
So St. Andrews, do you know Coach Mike Hart at all?
No.
He's a great guy. He's probably one of the best guys, most genuine guys I've ever met in my life. And with St. Andrews, it was a great situation. I really wish it worked out.
Mhm.
But after we were talking about committing to Quinnipiac, and I called Coach Hart, he was talking to me. He's like, the goal is to get a full D1 scholarship. So if it's the right situation for you, I think you should take it. And
Yeah.
I was planning on going there. I was playing AU with some of the guys, and I was getting acquainted to the situation. And then Quinnipiac figured out their roster. They figured out what they were doing with the portal. And then they reached out and said, "We want you on the first official visit," and it just worked out with them.
Now, I mean, that's good from his perspective as a coach too, to kind of. So I feel like some coaches, especially later in the process, would be pretty bitter about it.
Yeah,
Especially even if it's working out for you, where you're going to be getting a full scholarship. Coaches would be pretty bitter. So
yeah,
for him to do that, that's a huge move by a coach like that.
yeah. And when I first committed to St. Andrews, some of the coaches I called and I said, "Yeah, I won't be going to your school next year." It really surprised me, some of their characters. Like I was like,
Oh yeah.
wow, that showed his true colors. And with Coach Hart, it really did show his true colors because he's like such a genuine guy. Like he's the best. And it really impressed me. And I don't remember a person I've talked to who has said a bad thing about him. So highest praise to that man. But I in a way I wish it worked out with that school because
Mhm.
I almost want to see how high I could have gotten. You know what I mean? But Quinnipiac is I love the coach. I love like the team aspects they have there, and it just really clicked for me personally.
Now, yeah, I mean, what's crazy about like that the recruitment process, like I went through it just for Division 3 football, and you even see it at that level too, where it's like when you finally commit somewhere, even coaches at, like I said, at that level, they get super bitter and like you said, show their true colors. It's a cutthroat, it's crazy game, but it really is eye opening, especially when you're an 18, 17-year-old kid and seeing all that.
Yeah, I mean, some coaches were great, and I'll forever respect them for it. And some guys were suspect. So
Mhm.
I mean, where'd you
Now,
play football?
I play at Mass Maritime right now.
Got you. That's great.
Now, what schools were really kind of pushing on you to go prep? Like, were there some that were like, we just need to see a year of prep out of you, or just a little bit, or kind of know you're going to go prep, and then we'll come in with an offer?
Because of COVID, just about every school was like, "Yeah, we don't have spots this year, but we have
Mhm.
spots next year." So, I mean, we had a few schools in Colonial. We had Georgia State was that coach was great. He's calling me just about every week. UMass Princeton coach reached out to me right when I was committed to prep.
Mhm.
Schools from just about every conference were reaching out. A lot of A10 schools and
Wow.
Colonial.
That's awesome. So, but it seems like you're happy with Quinnipiac. So it seems like no regrets really on that front, that you've found your home for hopefully the next 4 years.
100%. No regrets. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get started with them because it's close to home. And I mean, I'm really excited.
Now, where do you live? Are you a Manchester or South Windsor kid?
I'm Glastonbury.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So
But
with going to East Catholic, what was the process getting there like? So, because I know you got to take the entry exam, and then it comes down to a lot of, do you want to stay at your high school? Like, do you want to go to East Catholic? What was the plan for you when you figured out that East Catholic was going to be the place?
so for me in middle school, I kind of had a rough middle school at Glastonbury. I was cut from sixth grade travel. I was cut from seventh grade travel teams. I was put on the B team in eighth grade, and I'm a triplet.
Okay.
So it was kind of like what situation works best for all three of us.
Mhm.
And with the smaller class sizes, and for my mom, the smaller class size, and for my dad, the better basketball program,
Yep.
East Catholic was definitely the right fit. And it was tough because we all wanted to stay with our friends,
Mhm.
but I'm so thankful I chose East Catholic.
Now, you don't have to answer, but did you get recruited to East Catholic for basketball?
No, not at
No.
all, actually. And
All
I
right.
don't know a single person who has.
All right. That's just the big thing with the Catholic schools, especially in like Northern Connecticut. East Catholic's the big one. I mean, when it comes to sports. Northwest isn't kind of thought about, I think, when it comes down to it, especially with East Catholic just winning the state championship in baseball. It's thought about like that. So it is kind of nice to hear that there isn't any recruiting going on.
Yeah, no, Coach Riley, the thing with East Catholic, our program is kind of so prestigious that we don't have to recruit, and we it just doesn't happen. I don't know how it is at Northwest. I know Northwest is a great basketball team. They've been doing great. Matt Curtis,
Yep.
Recently Guy Ragland. I mean, they're great, and it's weird. Some schools, some public schools, they actually do recruit, and you find out when you look at the college rosters where they say their hometown is.
Oh,
None
yeah.
of it's from that town. So
Well, for football, like I see it when we would play Windsor and Bloomfield in passing league. It's Windsor, Bloomfield, and Capital Prep. It's like a triangle where all three of them filter their players through. It's crazy because you'd play a kid that was like a nasty receiver for Windsor, and the next year he's playing at Bloomfield. It's crazy
yeah,
that whole triangle there.
and I love Kenny Smith's a great coach for Windsor, as you know.
Yep.
And there's some great guys there. But it's weird because like you were saying with Windsor, what I noticed is when after they leave Windsor and they go to play college, the hometown suddenly change. They don't suddenly live in Windsor anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Who was it that played at South Windsor, and then
Justice Ellison.
yes, Justice miraculously ended up playing for Windsor, which is I don't think comes by any coincidence.
Yeah, I think he's going to Barton Community College next year.
Okay.
Justice is a great kid. I played AU with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny how he ended up at Windsor. I mean,
made a nice little big three over there in Windsor for him. So it seemed like it worked out for them.
yeah, I mean, didn't really work out in the end because I think Northwest beat them. Yeah, Northwest beat them.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Now that I went in, I think it was 2019 when you guys played them at Windsor. And that was the game you guys lost, right?
That was the worst game of my career. That was the worst game of a lot of our careers. That was a very difficult game. The one where Corey did a 360 layup on me.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember if it was 19 or 18, but yeah, that game was.
Yeah, that was the only
crazy.
loss that season.
What was that?
That was the only loss that season. That was it was weird. That was the first big stage a lot of us had played on. So it was for me. I don't know if I was really prepared for that type of environment, but it definitely helped us in the future.
Well, I mean that you guys play in a smaller gym at East Catholic, but like Windsor, that gym is really tight when you get in there. It's and especially like on the baseline too, you've got all the media members right there. Like they're pretty much if you go for a layup, they're right in your face. So I mean, I can imagine it can't be an easy place to play in.
Yeah, no, and it's weird. It's like set up different because you have one side's like there's like nobody there, and the other side's like the 3 levels.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, and the only time I played there it was like streamed online and nobody could get in. Like it shut down before the JV games even started. Like it's a different environment. And I was like talking with my guys. I play for BABC AU, so we were like talking about our high school careers, and that's a very unique experience that we don't realize how lucky we are to have. Like not many people go out to like these prep school games and stuff, and with some of the public schools in Connecticut, like we draw big crowds, and it's great.
It really is. It's honestly any high school. I think like Hartford County and then down the southern part of the state, like whether your team's good or bad, the fan sections are gonna pop out for those types of games, and it really is. There's no feeling like it when you see a huge fan section like that.
Yeah, Ram High School.
Yeah.
They historically haven't been the best at basketball, but their student section is crazy, and I don't get it, but they keep coming out.
And their gym sucks too because it's like the court is wicked old, like it's weathered, it's pretty kind of dusty in there too. Like that place must have been pretty brutal to play, especially even if you're not playing a good team, but they've got that home court advantage that they're practicing on it every day. It can't be easy.
Yeah. The worst gym probably though is Glassmere because they don't even have a wood floor. They have like rubber. It's like Glassmere has so much money. Why can't we buy a wood floor? But I don't know.
It's weird, especially you've got that whole track too. It couldn't be that much to just throw the court right in the middle.
Yeah, and growing up playing in Glastonbury, like every court's rubber
Mhm.
and it's terrible. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, it's not great.
like,
No, playing in the CCC, it's a super competitive. I like to think it's probably the best league in Connecticut. What matchup did you hate having over your career at East Catholic? Like, was there a game where you were like, I have to go against X player, or I'm going against this team that's really good defensively?
so for me personally, I always really enjoyed the better matchups because less was expected out of me, if you know what I'm saying. And I always would thrive under that. Like I would play way better than expected. Aside from the Windsor game, I would play like my best against the better teams, and I'm thankful for that because that experience really helped my recruitment. But it's funny, the games that I did not want to play the most were against the types of teams like I mentioned Ram, because those were the football type of guys who didn't have much basketball skills,
Yep, yep,
but would just hit you. And the
yep.
coach would be like, get his legs, get his legs. Like jump for a lob, and the guys like hit underneath me, like undercut me. I was like, come on. But yeah.
That's definitely brutal. Now, what about playing against a guy like Donovan Kallen? How do you did would you like was that your matchup when you guys would play Bristol Central?
So my coach actually wouldn't start me on him because in previous, like we played him last year, not like 2019, 2020, and I would get into foul trouble because the rest for some reason loved calling fouls on me, even though he was 7 foot. Like
Yeah.
I've played against him a lot. He's a great guy, and the rest would never give me anything. So he didn't start me for the first half. So I would just go over and I would try to block his shot, help side.
Mhm.
So I would usually be matched up against somebody who I could we call a brick off and let shoot, like
Yep.
go help in the paint. But then at the end of games, I always match him against him. But I've played against him in other situations outside of high school, and I really enjoy playing against him because he's a challenge, because he's so big and
Mhm.
he's really skilled for his size. So that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely I'm a big UConn fan, so I'm definitely hoping he stays in the state of Connecticut and plays for the Huskies for the next few years, but you never know. I mean, with offers coming in like Michigan and Syracuse, it's tough to turn those down.
Yeah, it's hard because there's already some big guys at UConn, so the guys at the Patrick School, it's tough. It's gonna be interesting to see where he goes because he said he's gonna commit before senior year, so
Okay.
hopefully it comes out soon.
Now, who do you like for college basketball? Are you a UConn fan, or do you have another team in the country?
Um, I'm definitely a UConn fan. I know Coach Hurley pretty well. I know his assistants because I went to school with all their children, so I'm definitely a UConn fan. But I mean, now I'm rooting for Quinnipiac, of course.
Oh well,
But
yeah, of course, of course. Did
but it's weird. Like as school started recruiting me, I would watch their games and like become fans of them, kind of. So it's like I'll always have some of my favorites in each conference. You know what I'm saying?
did you follow this past season for UConn a lot?
I did. I followed a little bit. I didn't follow as much as I usually do because I've been just very wrapped up in basketball lately. And now it's kind of weird because I have like a whole break because I'm not playing AAU, but I'm not at college, so it's nice.
I bet. But so were you like an AAU every summer, like summer, fall, spring, like pretty much basketball year round throughout high school?
After eighth grade, it just was nonstop. I would play for like 3 different teams this summer. I would play when I was younger. I would play. I played with the Connecticut Heat, and I would play like 9 games a week, and I played with the younger team, and I played with the older team, and my legs were a different type of sore after that. But
Did,
yeah,
did you ever get worried about maybe like getting burnt out through that? Because you always hear that with kids that play a sport. I think baseball is a big one that you hear about kids get burnt out because they're playing year round and doing that. Did you ever have that feeling or ever get nervous about that?
people would mention it to me, but for me personally, it was always, can I use this to get better? And I think I definitely was able to use it to help myself get better and increase my stamina and all that. So I've never really gotten burnt out with basketball, and I'm lucky for sure.
Now, East Catholic, like we mentioned, I mean, dominant program through the CCC. Through your 4 years, I'm kind of putting you on the spot for this one, but what would be like your starting five of guys you've played with at East Catholic?
Am I gonna be starting or not?
You can throw yourself in it or not. I mean, that's up to you.
All right, I'm not gonna have myself started. So I did not play with him, but he was the year before me. But I've played against him. I know him very well. Mike, got to start Mike. Mike McGurl. I got
Yo,
to start. I want to put Joey in there. Joey Riley, great shooter, great guy. For the center, not many people know him. He plays in Kenyon right now. His name's Sam Walsh. He's kind
okay,
of my
yeah.
mentor. He got me to where I am right now. And I was wearing number 44 after him. So I was like in honor of him.
Where's
And
he
I play
playing now?
Kenyon in Ohio.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Put him at the 5. So it's Joey, Mike, Matt, Sam, and I think I've got a small ball like East Catholic historically does with Jalen.
I mean, that's a pretty unreal starting five right there. I mean, it would be tough to beat a team like that.
I mean, some pickup games get intense at East Catholic during the off season. That's all I can say.
Now, do you have yourself as in that lineup as like the sixth man coming off the bench, kind of like a Marcus Smart, where you bring the energy into the game?
Um, I would say coming off the bench more as if there doesn't come off the bench, Blake Griffin,
Okay.
to catch a body.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I try to bring that energy because if I'm playing in a game where I don't get many minutes, I've got to sell out and I've got to bring that energy. That's got to be my job. So for
Wow.
sure.
At what age did you start dunking? Because I'm always kind of curious about that with guys that can dunk like in game, especially in high school.
So it's funny you asked. So I'm a triplet, and one of my brothers who's the same height as me, he dunked. Like I was trying to dunk for so long, and I could always get high enough, but I could never actually dunk the ball.
Mhm.
And he dunked it on the last day before we turned 14. So he dunked it at 13, and I didn't get it. And like he would just bother me about that forever. So I think I dunked like next 2 weeks, and then I just took off from there. But I dunked at 14. Like compared to some guys I know, that's pretty late. But yeah, I the first time I touched above the top of the square was I think sophomore year.
That's
I'm
that's
working on it since there.
Jesus. All right. No, no. As like you play the four, where do you play the three or the four more?
Some games I play the 5. Like in high school, I played the 5. I
Okay.
was playing the 5, and Quinnipiac actually recruited me to play the 5 to play the pick and roll,
Mhm.
pick and pop type of thing. And I'm just next year I'm going to work on putting on weight so I can be there. But during AAU, I would play the 3. I would play at the top of the 1-2 so I could guards full court. So I almost play. It's weird. I almost play positionless. Like I play so many different spots. It's weird. But on offense, I'm a pick and roll type of guy. Catch that though, or
Mhm.
catch at the elbow.
So I was gonna ask what player you think you play the most like. So I mean, when you say you're positionless, it sounds a little bit like a guy like Jokic now, with how he's bringing the ball up a lot. He's playing outside the perimeter. He's getting dirty in the paint. Or is there a different player you have in mind for that?
See, Jokic from like I like to try and model my game after guys who are super athletic. So I like to try and be more
So,
like
so not Jokic at
Blake
all.
Griffin. Yeah, so Jokic, Mr. Drink, whole bottle of Coke a day type of guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not really that type of guy. It's more like my brother, but I try to be more like Blake Griffin, Derek Jones Jr., and ideally Kristaps Porzingis.
Mhm.
Just those type of guys. And I really like when I was younger, I really tried to model myself after Dirk because of his shot. And I'm lucky I did that because the game has evolved so much in the shooting that if I didn't, I don't know where I would be. I definitely wouldn't be at Quinnipiac.
Yeah, there's really, especially in the NBA now, there's not a ton of guys. I mean, like Drummond is probably one of the only examples of a center that just kind of he hangs out in the paint and his job is to just grab rebounds. All the centers today, I mean, Embiid now can stretch the floor. Jokic can stretch the floor. You got guys like Vucevic in Orlando that can I mean, he's pretty much just a power forward playing center for the Magic. So the league has evolved like crazy now.
Yeah. I mean, Rudy Gobert, Andre, like There's not many guys like that.
Oh yeah, Gobert.
I'm just a CT guy, so love him.
Absolutely.
But yeah, the game's evolved so much. Like it's weird. I hope there's like a Joel's like a dominant center, but he stretches it too. So I want to see another back to the basket type of guy that just dominates so much that the game kind of goes back the way it used to be somewhat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there really hasn't been a guy that's been that dominant the past few years, like that just kind of camps in the paint offensively, at least. Gobert defensively has been, but I mean, I'm trying to think. Like Drummond with Detroit was kind of like that, but then I mean, if you really go back, it's kind of just Shaq in Miami was the last guy like that,
Yeah.
which is nuts. It's over
Yeah.
15 years.
The game's really changed, and now if you can't shoot, there's no spot for you
No,
anywhere.
it's nuts.
So
Now, Brody, before I let you go, I appreciate you coming on. Another thing, kind of throwing you on the spot, but it's a question we ask every like athlete, former athlete, coach that we've had on the podcast. Like, you've got time for 3 songs before a game. What are you throwing on? And then a special one. What is your ideal song for like to come out to, as a team?
So the first song I always listen to is "Love Yours" by J. Cole.
Okay.
I'm a big J. Cole guy, so I'll probably go "Love Yours" by J. Cole, "Tale of Two Cities," and what's another song? I would probably go "03 Adolescence," but that's just for me because like I don't really like to listen to like too much going in the game, like to calm my mind somewhat. But running out, I would have to say Suburban Part 2 by Tutu G's. I gotta go with that. We ran out to that a little bit this year, and that song gets me fired up personally.
That's awesome. That's I mean I love hearing about what people listen to because it's all over the place. Like you get some guys that come on, they're like I listen to like football players like I listen to Metallica, System of a Down, and then you get guys like you where you're like I don't like to kind of pump myself up too much. I just like to kind of lock in and calm my nerves down before the game.
Yeah, I definitely do that because the crowd's gonna get me riled up enough. I don't need that before the game somewhat.
Yeah.
But yeah, for sure.
Brody, I appreciate you coming on. Hopefully get you back on before the start of basketball season.
For sure.
Talk a little college hoops, NBA at that time. So before one more thing, who is your pick for the NBA finals?
I mean,
Like matchup and then who wins it?
Phoenix. I like the Suns. I gotta go. Nets, Suns in the finals. Nets are winning it. I don't see any way around it, to be honest. Unfortunately.
That's a bummer. Yeah, I as much as it hurts to say that it sucks, but yeah, Brooklyn looks so dominant, and if Harden comes back healthy, then it's all over.
Yeah, I'm a Celtics guy, so it's tough for me to say, but that's just what it is.
Yeah, Brody, I appreciate you coming on, like I said, and definitely we'll keep in touch, get you back on in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a nice night.
You too. Thank you for listening to this episode of the My Parents Office podcast. Stay tuned for more episodes we're going to be bringing to you. Thank you.